We locked the cabin. It was already inside. We checked every door. We were wrong. The cabin at the end of the road. The road ended where the trees began. There were 4 of us. Marcus drove. He always drove. Big hands, steady eyes, the kind of guy who made you feel safe just by being in the same car. Beside him sat Danny, his girlfriend, who had found the cabin listing online and convinced us all it would be the perfect weekend away from everything. Then there was Joel in the back seat beside me, asleep with his face against the window, breath fogging the glass. And me, the one writing this down now, the only one who needs to. The cabin sat at the edge of a pine forest in northern New Mexico, on land the rental website had described as remote and rustic. That was generous. The dirt road to it was 4 miles of ruts and rocks. There was no cell signal past the gas station in town, no neighbors within shouting distance, and no streetlights. Just pines on all sides standing so close together they seemed to lean in, like they were curious about us. We arrived just after sunset. The sky was purple and deep at the edges, stars already punching through. The cabin was small, 1 main room, a kitchen corner, a bathroom the size of a closet, and a steep wooden staircase leading to a loft with 2 mattresses. It smelled like cedar and old ash. Joel woke up when Marcus killed the engine. He rubbed his eyes, looked at the tree line and said, "It's quiet." "That's the point," Danny said, already climbing out with her bag. She was right. It was so quiet you could hear your own pulse. We unpacked, made food, lit a fire in the iron stove. Marcus found an old deck of cards, and we played until midnight. Everything was fine. Everything felt easy and warm and good. That was before we heard the sound outside. Something in the trees. It started as a crack, a single sharp crack, like a branch snapping under weight. Joel heard it first. He put his cards face down on the table and tilted his head. We all went still without needing to be told. In a quiet place, 1 wrong sound fills the entire world. Then came another crack, closer. "Dear," Marcus said. He said it quickly, the way people say things when they want them to be true. Danny went to the window and pressed her face close to the glass, cupping her hands around her eyes. The darkness outside was total. The fire inside made mirrors of all the windows. She could see nothing but her own pale reflection staring back. "There's something out there," she said quietly. "Dear," Marcus said again, quieter this time. Then we heard it. Not a crack, not a snap. A voice. Or something like a voice. It was low and wet and wrong. It said a word none of us could make out, in a tone that didn't sound like a question or a call for help. It sounded like something practicing. The hair on my arms stood up so fast it hurt. Joel pushed back from the table. Marcus was already moving to the door, checking the bolt. I watched his face as he did it. The color had drained from it. He was trying to stay calm for us. You could see the effort it cost him. "We should turn the lights off," I said. I don't know why I said it. It felt right. It felt like the right thing to do when something outside might be looking in. We turned everything off except the stove. In the red glow, we sat together on the floor between the couch and the kitchen, backs to the wall, listening. The sound came twice more, once nearer, once from a different direction, as if the thing was circling us, testing the edges, learning the shape of the cabin. Then silence, long, total silence. We waited 20 minutes. Nobody spoke. Joel was breathing through his mouth. I could feel Danny's shoulder pressed against mine, rigid as wood. Marcus sat with his back perfectly straight, eyes fixed on the door. After 20 minutes, nothing. After 30, nothing at all. We lock everything. "Okay," Marcus finally said. "We're going to check every point of entry, every window, every door. Then we're going to sleep in shifts, 2 up, 2 down. It was probably a coyote or a person who was lost." We did not believe it was a coyote or a lost person. But having a plan was better than having nothing, so we followed Marcus around the cabin like children following a parent through a dark hallway. "Front door, deadbolt thrown, chain latched, check. Back door, deadbolt thrown, a chair wedged under the handle for good measure. Check. 6 windows on the ground floor, each one locked, each latch tested twice. Check. The loft had 2 small windows at the gable ends. Marcus climbed up and checked both. He came down and nodded. "We're sealed in," he said. And something about the way he said it, sealed in, made my skin feel too tight. Because yes, nothing could get inside. But also, we couldn't get out quickly either. The thought moved through my mind like a cold stone dropped in water. I pushed it away. Danny exhaled for what felt like the first time in an hour. Joel made instant coffee. I sat on the couch and felt the tight band around my chest loosen, just slightly, just enough to breathe normally again. "Whatever it was," Joel said, "it's gone." And the silence held. 12 minutes of clean, empty silence. Relief is a dangerous thing. It makes you put down your guard. It makes you close your eyes. It makes you believe the story is over before the last page. Marcus sat in the armchair with his arms crossed and eyes half closed, keeping watch. Danny lay on the couch, a blanket up to her chin. Joel was already drifting at the kitchen table, head nodding. I leaned my head back against the wall and let my body unclench, muscle by muscle. The stove ticked as it cooled. The wind moved through the pines outside in a slow, low exhale. I thought, we made it. We are safe. We locked everything out. I almost believed it. Then, from directly above my head, from the loft where no one had gone, came the sound of a slow, deliberate footstep. The footsteps upstairs. Nobody moved. The footstep came again. 1, 2, 3. Slow and even, crossing the loft from left to right, from the east gable window toward the top of the stairs. Weight pressed into old wood. Each step deliberate, like something taking its time. Danny's face had gone completely white. Joel's coffee cup was frozen halfway to his lips. Marcus was standing. I hadn't seen him stand, hadn't heard him move, but he was standing. And his eyes were fixed on the ceiling, tracking the sound. The footsteps stopped at the top of the stairs. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. My whole body had collapsed into one single animal function. Listen. The world was the ceiling. The world was those stairs. The world was whatever stood at the top of them in the dark. Nothing came down. Nothing moved. It just stood there. We could feel it standing there the way you feel someone staring at you from across a room, a pressure in the air, a sense of being observed by something patient and old and utterly unhurried. Marcus grabbed the fireplace poker. His jaw was set hard. He looked at each of us, a short, quick look that said, "Stay here," and then he moved toward the stairs. I reached out and grabbed his sleeve. He pulled free gently and kept moving. I have never watched someone walk towards something more bravely than that. He got to the bottom of the stairs. He put his foot on the first step. The wood creaked under him. He looked up into the dark mouth of the loft. "Hello," he said, and his voice was so ordinary, so human in that terrible silence, it almost made me cry. No answer, no sound at all. He climbed 3 steps, 4. Then he was up in the loft, out of sight. We heard his footsteps moving around up there, checking behind the mattresses, checking the gable windows. He came back down. His face was pale but steady. "Nothing," he said. "Windows still locked, nothing up there." Danny let out a long, shaking breath. Joel put down his coffee cup. I realized my hands were shaking and pressed them flat against my thighs. "Old wood," Marcus said, "cabin settling. We're exhausted and our heads are playing tricks." He was almost certainly right, except he wasn't. Because I had been watching his face when he came back down those stairs, and there was something behind his eyes that he wasn't saying, something small and cold and buried deep. I had known Marcus for 11 years. I had never seen that look on his face before. I had never seen that look on anyone's face before. It was already inside. We slept, or tried to. 2 on the couch, 2 in chairs. Marcus took the first watch. I took the second. When Marcus woke me at 3 a.m. to hand off, his fingers closed around my shoulder, and I remember thinking, cold. His hand is so cold. But it was a cold night, and I was half asleep, so I let it go. I sat in the armchair with the poker across my knees and watched the door and the windows and the bottom of the stairs. The cabin was quiet. Danny breathed softly. Joel made small sounds in his sleep. The stove held the last orange memory of heat. Around 4 a.m., I looked at Marcus in the chair across from me. He was perfectly still. Not the stillness of sleep, the stillness of something holding itself motionless. Head upright, eyes open, facing the window. "Marcus," I whispered. No response. "Marcus," louder. He turned his head to look at me. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to describe what I saw in that moment. And I will spend the rest of my life failing. His face was Marcus's face. The jaw, the nose, the eyes, exactly right. But the expression behind the eyes was not right. It was too still, like a portrait of Marcus rather than Marcus himself. Like something that had studied his face from the outside and rebuilt it from memory. It smiled at me. Marcus's smile, worn on a face that did not know how to smile from the inside. "Everything is fine," it said, in Marcus's voice, with Marcus's words, with nothing behind them at all. I understood everything in that moment, all at once, cold and sudden and absolute. The sound in the trees had not been outside the cabin trying to get in. It had been a distraction. It had been a lure. While we stared into the dark windows, while we debated whether to turn the lights off, something had already come through the door. Not the front door, not the back door. It had come through Marcus. I don't know when. I don't know how. Maybe at the car when he stepped out alone to get the last bag from the trunk and we didn't follow because we were tired. Maybe on the walk to the woodpile before dinner. There had been small moments all evening where one of us had been alone for 30 seconds, a minute, and Marcus's moments had been more than ours. We hadn't noticed. You never notice the small moments until they become the only thing that matters. The footsteps upstairs. Marcus checking the loft. Coming back down with that look in his eyes that I had never seen before, because it wasn't Marcus who had come back down. We had checked every window. We had bolted every door. We had sealed ourselves in the cabin with all our care and all our fear and all our love for each other, and it had been sitting in the chair across from me all night, wearing my friend's face, waiting patiently for morning. I did not scream. I did not run. I looked at the thing that wore Marcus's face, and it looked at me. And in the silence between us, I understood the oldest truth about fear. The thing outside is the warning. The thing inside is the end. I am writing this now because I got out, because Danny woke up and saw my face and understood without words, and together we moved fast, and we were lucky in a way I don't entirely deserve. Joel, too. We left Marcus behind. I don't know if that was the right choice. I know it was the only one we had, because the thing sitting in that chair with his hands folded in his lap, and his cold smile and his patient, empty eyes, that was not Marcus anymore. Marcus was gone before we ever locked the doors. We just didn't know it yet.